What's up, everyone? This is Rudy from Drinks and a Movie Podcast, and I'm going to be doing a little tasting video today. I recently came upon the brand new Knob Creek 10-year-old rye. This one just dropped. I spent some time working in Owensboro, Kentucky, and I saw this at a store called Barrelheads out there. And I found out recently that it was going to come, but I didn't know when or where. So it really took me by surprise when I saw this on the shelf. So I'm going to break the seal on this, and I'm going to do a little comparison with the regular Knob Creek Rye, which, as you've seen, fairly recently got a 7-year age statement, which is pretty cool. You don't see the 7 years out here in Southern California as much yet. I see a lot of them in the 1 liters, but not as many of the 750s yet. It seems like there's still a lot of older stock they got to cycle through. But yeah, I think it's really cool that we got the 7-year, and then now they just dropped the 10-year. I love the label as well. You know, Knob Creek always kills it with that. But yeah, so I'm going to open these both up, and then we'll taste them and kind of see how it goes. So here we go, breaking the seal. All right, cool. So I'm really excited to try this. I was really stoked when I saw it at the store out there. If you ever find yourself in Owensboro, Kentucky, Barrelheads is a really awesome store. Go check them out. They got a cool little tasting bar in there, which I've never seen anything like that out here in California, where they just have all the allocated, rare, hard to find stuff for really good prices for you to try. So it's bottles that you can't necessarily just buy. They don't have them there for sale, but it's nice to be able to try stuff. You know, I finally tried Jack Daniel's 12. So that was really awesome, along with a lot of other good stuff. So first I'm going to do some Knob Creek Rye, the 7-year, you know, the standard one. Just warm up with. These are both 100 proof. So yeah. Yeah, nice and peppery. I'm almost getting a minty quality off this, which I don't typically get off the Knob Creek Rye. I'm a huge fan of Knob Creek, as you know, if you've seen the podcast or listened to anything, you know, I talk about Knob Creek a lot. And the rye is one of my kind of daily sippers. This was my backup bottle. I just finished the other one recently. So yeah, here we go. Yeah, interesting. The rye definitely comes through. Definitely some mint quality. And I want to say maybe nutmeg is that kind of citrusy spice. Or for me, it feels, it smells kind of citrusy. Yeah, here we go. That's good. I mean, the palate matches the nose. Usually I get a sweet, almost kind of brown sugary vibe off the Knob Creek Rye. That's something I like. I think they're in the barely legal category, meaning they're right at the 51% rye mark. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that's the case. So they are good because they do offer a little bit of a sweeter quality compared to some other ryes. If it's something that, you know, I know a lot of people have trouble transitioning from bourbon to the spicier kind of rye characteristics. I think Knob Creek is a good one for that because it retains a lot of those sweet, rich, brown, sugary characteristics, at least for me and my palate. Yeah, that's good. So let's see. Now this glass is the 10-year. I'm really curious to see if it's going to be that big of a difference. I mean, I guess in theory it should. I mean, that's 3 whole years. I'm trying to think of the oldest ryes I've tasted. I've had a Lock, Stock, and Barrel 18-year that I thought was really interesting, but it's been a while since I've had that. Nelson Bros 15-year-old rye is really great. I fairly recently tried the old Overholt Cask Strength 10-year. That's really good. You know, Sagamore Spirit 8-year rye is a really great one. But yeah, Knob Creek 10. Man, I'm so stoked. Here we go. So the nose is pretty similar. I'm not really getting anything wildly different. Now there's more caramel coming off of that one. I want to say the 10-year or so far is a little more on the muted side. Still getting that same kind of nutmeg, maybe clove, spice, you know. Not as much of that minty quality. It's more of these sweeter spice notes. Black pepper for sure. Maybe a little bit of cinnamon. Anyway, here we go. Cheers. That one really lights up the tongue quite a bit more. It's kind of bright. Yeah, again, I don't know that it tastes wildly different so far, but let me take another sip here. It did really coat the tongue and kind of, yeah, I don't know. More of a feeling than a taste on the palate right now. Yeah, I'm going to have to try this one again. So right now, I think much like the 7-year, it's consistent to the nose and the palate, the flavor is consistent to the nose. Those same spices, I mentioned a little bit of cinnamon. There's more of a caramel flavor coming out on this one. It's not super harsh. It's refined, but there is that black pepper spice quality coming out. The finish seems to go on a little bit longer too. I'm getting more of a hug off it, you know, where I can really feel it going all the way down. Still get that kind of caramel vibe, but without a burn. I feel the hug, you know what I mean? The finish is still going, but it's not burning, you know, it's not hot or anything. Now a little bit of that minty rye qualities coming out in the nose. Interesting. That sip kind of came off almost more peppery and a little bit of bitterness came out on that one. Is what I have left of the 7-year. Having them back to back just then, I do feel like I still think the 10 finishes longer. It's not that far off. I'm gonna have to side by side these again. This is just first impression. You know, maybe a little airtime will change it up as well. But I do feel like going back and forth, like the 10-year is a little more viscous. I think just rich overall. I don't think the flavors and everything are like wildly different, but it's just like a richer version of it. You do get more of that like sweeter caramel note coming out. You do get the longer finish. So it's really, and I did feel like going back to the 7, it's maybe like slightly thinner in a way, you know, a little bit brighter, if that makes sense. But I feel like they're pretty close. I'm definitely gonna have to do this again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to side by side them again and maybe throw in some other ryes for comparison, like see where a Sagamore 8-year, you know, stacks up with it, or I don't know, I'll find something else on the shelf too. But yeah, they're both good. I mean, I love Knob Creek Rye, the 10-year, really good. I think the best way to sum it up right now is just a souped up version of the 7-year of your classic Knob Creek Rye. So it's good. I'll compare them again sometime. I don't know when these are gonna hit Southern California, and I don't even know what other states have them yet. So if you happen to come across it and you pick it up, let me know what you think. And let us know, leave a comment on like what store you picked it up from. Again, I got this at Barrelheads in Kentucky. And, you know, Jim Beam has a lot of good distribution in California. So I'm sure we're going to be seeing these. I just hope that we don't get a bunch of markups on it, because my understanding is that it should be a regular shelfer, just like, you know, like the Knob Creek 12. So this is just like the rye version of like the bourbon 12-year. And I did get it for, I believe it was $69.99 at that store in Owensboro. So, you know, I'm assuming that's the retail. I don't know. Maybe it's a little cheaper, but I feel like the Knob Creeks are always close, and a lot of Jim Beam products like are usually sold for their retail price. Like it doesn't seem like they always get marked up super high, at least in most cases I've experienced. But yeah, it's delicious. I love it. Rich, souped up. If you get a chance, try it out. I do not think you will be disappointed. So give it a shot. Anyway, that's it for me. Cheers.